Yes, people, welcome to the Daily United Report. And on today's episode, of course, we have some really good news coming out of United. We have rumours about a striker coming in, but also a striker leaving United. Not only that, but we have some rumours about midfielder coming out of Nottingham Forest and how will United attack the transfer window and deploy this midfielder, as he's one of the most wanted midfielders in England at the moment. And we're going to be talking about and bringing you just a little bit of breakdown of an interview that Matthijs de Ligt did post-Anfield. So let's jump into it. Joshua Zirkzee has been linked with a move away from Manchester United. Now, personally, I do not think this is going to happen because a lot of people just looking at it at face value saying, oh, Joshua will leave because he's not getting any game time. But let's be honest, people. He hasn't been fit for the preseason. He was unfit. He went on tour not to play but to get fit. Then he came back. He had a game where he played where he wasn't really fit and had a setback. So now is the first time Josh is actually having a chance to really be in some sort of momentum. Now, do we have to really rush him? No, we don't, especially when we have one game per week. Now, people will say, but why is he not in rotation? Amorim don't like him. Of course he does. Of course Amorim likes Joshua Zirkzee. But the problem is, we need to find a balance. We need to find a set 11 or 13 players that we can have a flow or momentum with. And then you can start to drop in your techie, flary kind of players like a Joshua Zirkzee to add to a Cunha and a Mason Mount when you want a bit of a rotation. You understand? So there's a few things. Now, also, playing devil's advocate, we have to look at the situation where there is a chance that Ahmad and Mbeumo leaves very soon. Ahmad and Mbeumo is on their way to the African Cup of Nations in December to January. Now, that leaves us with Mason Mount, Cunha, and Sesko as attacking players. How are you going to now drop a guy who can not only play the right side, can play the left side, and can play as a striker? So you're losing an attacking player that can play in all three positions. Maybe none of them really suit him to the best of his ability, but he's playing well in all of them. When Joshua Zirkzee was one of Manchester United's best players going down into the latter stage of last season. So how are we now looking at this guy who's showed us that he can fight adversity? He's a really good team player. He was one of the happiest players on the pitch when United beat Anfield. Joshua Zirkzee was lifting up Sesko. He was lifting up Bruno. He was jumping up with Ahmad. Come on, this is the kind of environment you want to create with this sort of talent. Now, is Zirkzee a really good player? Let's argue that. We can't, because we know he is a really good player. Technically, he is probably, if not, in the top 5 players at United right now. If we had to name the top 5 technical players at United, who would we name? We would say Joshua Zirkzee, Matthijs Cunha, Amad Diallo, Bruno Fernandes, and probably Kobbie Mainoo. Those are the 5 I would name based on techers, flair. So this guy has a lot of ability. Now, a lot of people again try to make up these kind of words that we never hear about football. A 9.5 striker. The fuck is a 9.5? Bro, they are different type of strikers. Like you have different type of midfielders, they're just different type of strikers. We always have to find words to put on things when they can just be the same. Like Joshua Zirkzee is a false 9. Fear. All this 9.5, 8.3, 6.9. What are we? Are we going to start calling ball playing centre backs a 3.5 or 3.2? Or because he doesn't go, as maybe a defender doesn't go too high up the pitch, what are we going to be calling him now? A 0.3? Like, get serious, man. Like, it's when I hear these things sometimes in my mind, I'm like, You go and tell somebody you're a 9.5. Bro, what is a 9.5? Hey, go play in the 9.5. What? Like, come on. But then you see not only is Joshua being linked away, but now we see this striker being linked to United in the summer. Lewandowski. Now, this makes no sense to me, because why are we giving up a Lewandowski for a Joshua Zirkzee, letting a Joshua Zirkzee go to being linked to Roma? And let's not forget, Roma picked up Evans Ferguson from Brighton on loan. The same Evans Ferguson that y'all wanted United to go get rid of Højlund for. The same Evan Ferguson that people were saying United should go after this summer. It's the same Evan Ferguson that Roma doesn't want for Joshua Zirkzee. Just saying. Just saying. So, when United fans look at their players and say, get him out, get him out, get him out, and you have other clubs come in and pick up your players and go in massive tournaments with them, it speaks volumes. So, us bringing a 36, 37-year-old striker in the summer to United, who's probably going to want nearly $500,000 to play for United. I'm telling you, Lewandowski playing for United for less than 350 to 400,000 pounds a week. So there's no way that you can tell me that he's worth it. Now, don't get me wrong. Is he worth that money? If he was 26 years old, 27-year-old Lewandowski, I'll give him even $500,000. $500 million a week. I promise you. I mean, $500,000 a week. I would give him £500,000 a week. 27-year-old Lewandowski for Joshua Zirkzee, no doubt. But this man is 10 years past his prime. Why are we still even being rumored with these people? But I don't think this rumor is real. I just think the Mirror was just trying to find news. So they really just put this up. But as our job as United fans and creators, it's our job to bring light to some of these stories, because fans do believe these stories. Some of these stories get a lot of engagement, and it's not because of people don't believe it. People actually do believe United would go after a striker like Lewandowski ilk. But I just think it would be ridiculous for us to even think about doing something like that, because that would be another Casemiro situation. That would be another Ronaldo situation, Johnny Evans situation. Oh my God, I can't stop naming them. How many times have United done this? Cavani, Wout Weghorst. We can name so many players. Igalo, Alexis Sanchez. All these players were old, just past their prime. And we brought them to United to do what? Nothing. Nothing. How many of those players have I called impacted winning for United in a very high level? Not much. Not much. Yeah, Ronaldo scored a lot of goals. Ronaldo came and put goals to his name, 27, whatever he did. But at the end of the day, he put United and set United back in a very massive way. Because now, instead of United went to get fucking Erling Haaland, they get caught up on this emotional mindset and force themselves to go get Cristiano Ronaldo. And then what happens now is Cristiano Ronaldo comes into the club, thinks about himself, realizes what's going on, and then instead he just goes along his way quiet as a professional. He bashes the manager, puts pressure on the manager. So then that alone, Cristiano Ronaldo literally damaged Ten Hag's career. Have we realized since Ten Hag and Ronaldo beef, it hasn't been the same for Ten Hag? It's just like people consistently want him to fail. The media, the foot, and they know why they do that, because Ronaldo and him had a beef, and they all want to be on Ronaldo's good side because they're suck-ups. But at the end of the day, you cannot keep a good man down. Always remember, you can't keep a good man down. Listen to them tune, people. Bombok. I haven't heard that song in so long. But another news again, we are being linked to a midfielder. Now, this midfielder out of Nottingham Forest, Elliot Anderson. So coming out of the Sun, gossip of course, Manchester United joined the Elliot Anderson race battle with Chelsea and Man City also eyeing up the star. Now, I don't even think Elliot Anderson is being watched only by Chelsea and Man City. The way this guy is performing right now, Real Madrid would have him over Camavinga. And people will say, oh, I am delusional, I don't know what I'm saying. But I'm telling you right now, Xavi Alonso will have an Elliot Anderson over Eduardo Camavinga right now. And for me, this young midfielder right here is a high-level player. You know, I watched Elliot Anderson last season and even the season before. And how much this kid has improved from the age of 20 to 22. It's nothing that I've ever seen in another player. Honestly, I don't think y'all really watched Elliot Anderson when he came into the league. How much this guy was a bit behind the pace of the game. He was struggling to link play up. He was trying a lot of things now. Exactly what he's doing right now. Trying to drive to the space. Trying to win a lot of balls. And it just wasn't working for him. And now he's put himself in a position where he's one of England's starting midfielders. Now apparently United is being linked with him. Right? And United is saying that the evaluation for him is 75 million. Now, do I think he's worth 75 million? No. I think he's a 45 to 50. If you pay 50 million for Elliot Anderson, like if you went to get a deal like what you got for a, let me see what, like a 40, 50 million pound player, fine. If you're going to try to find a player, pay even more money for Elliot Anderson, I don't really think so. Now, based on what I'm seeing right now, he's in better form than Carlos Baleba. And United fans again might be upset about this, but Elliot Anderson right now fits United's system a lot more than Carlos Baleba. He can do a lot. You know, the guy wins the ball back, he drives through the space, he links up play, he's a box-to-box midfielder. So that alone tells you already he's an Amorim midfielder. Because the box-to-box way of playing the football is what Amorim likes. Amorim don't really want his midfielders to sit down and just shadow space. He wants them to be up and down, box-to-box. That old throwback sort of way of playing midfield. Just get up and down the pitch. That's your job. Link play, defend, link play, defend, go score goals. Of course, you have the balance where one go, one sit, one go, one sit, one kind of stay in the middle space, one plays in the half space, one makes runs in behind, one covers the space. Of course, you have all those small things that makes the formation and system work. But in terms of the attributes of the player, Elliot Anderson is a serious footballer. And this is not me just getting on the Elliot Anderson hype. Because unlike y'all, I've watched Elliot Anderson for the last couple of years, even in the under-20 World Cup. So we have to really understand how good this young man is. I mean Euros. So we have to really understand how good this young man is when we're watching how he's developed over the last 2 years. For me, it's not about what he's doing now, but how much he's developed over the last 2 years. And I think this has a big thing to do with him being around midfielders like Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, Joelinton, energy. And then you have the calmness of a Bruno Guimaraes. You can see the Tonali energy and the Guimaraes the Bruno's kind of way of collecting the ball, slowing it down. So he soaked up everything he could learn, and kudos to Elliot Anderson. But now, there was an interview now with this centre-back from United, Matthijs de Ligt, talking about now he feels a bit better because, to be honest, de Ligt is actually in form. He leads United's defenders by some of the most stats. Most clearances, most headers, most progressive passes, most clearances in the opposition box, most headers won. most tackles, most successful tackles, most tackles attempted. Jesus. What else does he? Successful pass rate. He's just leading stat by stat by stat by stat. And what I like about Matthijs de Ligt is he is a throwback centre-back with modern qualities. The guy is rugged, rough, dangerous, strong, big. You know, Martinez have the same grit as well. But Martinez don't have the stature, the physique, the physicality. Martinez is strong, yes. But what de Ligt is a machine. And I feel like a lot of people look past how good this guy's been this season. Now, he's also only 26 years old. Centre-backs usually start to hit mad form at 28 upwards. And this guy has played football for so many top clubs. Bayern Munich, Juventus, Ajax. The best in every country, really. Manchester United. He's had a really good career if you look at it. He's technically had like a Ronaldo type career per Real Madrid. Best club in his home country, Ajax, Sporting. Then moves to another big club in Manchester United, Juventus. And then gets another big move to another big club, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and then ends up at Manchester United. It's like a Ronaldo move, par Real Madrid. But yeah, he's been talking to the media and they asked him about what he feels about his top form, what does he bring it down to, and he says, well, the first thing really is that I had a proper pre-season and now his body feels well. It's really important, he thinks, for his body that he has a real good pre-season. And it's one of his first pre-seasons in 5 to 6 years when he didn't have a chance or injury or Euros. The last time was probably his last season at Ajax, and that was actually one of my best seasons of my career. I feel it is a big thing that is really important. I feel that mentally and physically I'm really in a good place. I feel quite confident. Obviously, my teammates and the manager help a lot because they give me this confidence. He also goes about speaking about the Premier League, says that the Premier League as well now he's up with the pace and that he's very happy to be at Manchester United. Now, de Ligt was bought for £50 million and he's showing his work. Just like Maguire has shown his work, and I have a video coming out of Maguire now. About Maguire, because I feel like a lot of people look past what Maguire has been doing for United over his tenure, and I'm really going to show y'all the light and why only now people are giving Maguire props, because it's just what the algorithm is asking for and not why they actually care and like Harry Maguire, and I'll prove to y'all why. But yeah, Matthijs de Ligt is United's best defender at the moment. Him and Maguire right now at the moment are in really good form. And I'm happy to see the way that both of these players, but de Ligt especially, has very much evolved and elevated his game. So yeah, people, it's been your boy with the Daily United Report. Don't forget, please, to like, share, and subscribe to the page. Keep hitting the bell for notifications so I can continue bringing you great content going forward. Have a good time, my people. Take care. Stay sexy.